You're listening to the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast, the show that guides you on your holistic lifestyle journey to a healthy body, mind, and soul aligned with nature. Hello, and welcome to episode number 25 of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk all about essential oils. I'm going to talk about what they are, why they are important, and I'm going to give you 10 of the best essential oils for your health. And then I'm also going to tell you how to use them and my favorite source for getting oils and other things like herbs and things like that. So essential oils is the use of them is actually called aromatherapy, which you've probably heard of before. This is a great natural way to pamper your body, your mind, and your soul. So it's kind of nice to have something to turn to from nature rather than medications and chemicals. And essential oils are really great in both of these areas, as far as helping you to feel better and helping you to clean as well, which I'll get into more. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is exactly what are essential oils. They are the essence of a plant, which has been extracted and made into an oil. They can be used in a variety of ways for health. Most you probably heard of using it for health, for air purification as well, and for cleaning. You can buy them at almost any store, but it's hard to tell if these are good quality. So you need to make sure that the oils that you are buying are a therapeutic grade. And this is why I like to recommend the online store Mountain Rose Herbs, because they are organic ingredients and you can use them to make natural health products. Or Mountain Rose Herbs is amazing in so many ways, and I talk about them a lot because there's a lot of things you can buy on their website, including oils and extracts and whole herbs, and I'll be talking more about them later. So why are essential oils important? When you are trying to live a healthy lifestyle, having herbs and oils can help you to alleviate symptoms of chronic illness. And you can do this naturally, of course, with these herbs. And there's a lot of other benefits to these, almost too many to mention, because using essential oils for aromatherapy, it's therapeutic, and using them in as a cleansing agent is great for the environment and the air quality inside your home. So as you can tell, there's really no end to the ways that essential oils can be used. So I want to leave a quote here. I cannot pronounce this name, but it's I have it listed on my website. It's in a book called Essential Oils for Healing, and I'm going to try to say his name here. Vanoy Gentle's Fight is the name, and the quote is, "I believe that for every illness or ailment known to man, that God has a plant out there that will heal it. We just need to keep discovering the properties for natural healing." I love this quote because it talks about the heart of natural healing, which is plants. And everybody knows that eating plants it's one of the healthiest ways that you can improve your health. And so using plants for food and using plants for oils, I think, are the key to good health. One of the keys, I should say. There's so many. So each essential oil has its own characteristic aroma and set of therapeutic properties. Oils can be invigorating, soothing, relaxing, or stimulating. So they have many different positive effects on your mental state. They can relieve depression, anxiety. They can improve your focus. Many oils have antibacterial or antiseptic or anti-inflammatory properties. These can be effective in relieving symptoms of the cold and flu, as well as preventing infections. And you might have heard that how they came up with pills was they actually took the part of the plant, the essential part of the plant, and they extracted it, but then to make pills, they messed around with it. They added a lot of chemicals and artificial products to make them the pill that they are. And the reason why using natural preventative medicines and essential oils is better, because nature knows what it's doing, and nature provides the actual essence in the way that we need it. And the way that the pharmaceutical companies have created pills and medicines is they messed around with it. And you can't mess around with nature. It alters it. And this is why there are side effects. Now, that being said, there are some negative effects that can happen with essential oils and herbs as well, and that's important to note here. But they are not going to be as damaging, because when you see, like, I'm going to use this example of the commercials that you see for medications. Almost always, I would say in 100% of the time, they're going to end the commercial with, beware of these side effects. And then they're going to say, this may cause this, this, and this. And many times the side effect is death. And while there might be some herbs out there that do cause death, they're very rare, and they're only because you find this herb out in nature and you might eat it, not knowing what it is. There are a couple of those. However, you're never going to find an essential oil that's going to cause death. You're never going to buy an herb and take a little bit of it and have it cause death. That's not possible. It's only going to cause some counter indications, and that is something that's a whole separate subject. And that's something that if you really want to learn about, you can study herbalism. But I'm going to try to keep this episode about essential oils. They are so related, though, because oils come from the plants, from the herbs. So another thing I wanted to note, that essential oils can be blended together to create a synergistic effect. These blends tend to be more expensive, but they're worth it because they provide more benefits than using single oils alone. And this is something that you need to learn about and study if you want to make these blends yourself. Or you can make it easy and buy them, which is what I do. I buy herbs that have been blended together for specific purposes, and they're put together by professionals that know what they're doing. So now I'm going to move on to the next section of this episode, and I'm going to talk about 10 of the best essential oils for your health. So these are going to be 10 that are some of the most common ones and that have some of the most practical uses. So the first one on this list is a rose. Rose oil has some exceptional healing benefits. It's good for so many things, but especially if you have emotional or mental health issues, particularly stress. Rose essential oil for aromatherapy can help to de-stress you, relax you, and help you sleep. It's also good for your skin. There's a toner that I buy. It's rose infused toner, and it smells amazing. So the next one on this list is lavender. Now, this is probably the most common popular essential oil. You can find this in almost any store. Even grocery stores carry lavender oil. However, like I mentioned, it must be therapeutic grade. If it's not therapeutic grade, I mean, it can help you in some ways, but it's not going to be the best quality. And what we're going for here is quality that is basically organic and, sourced naturally, which is how Mountain Rose Herbs does it. And that's why I love them so much. But anyway, back to lavender. So lavender, one of the most common essential oils. It's found nearly anywhere. It's excellent for the skin. It's for helping heal wounds and irritation. This was actually discovered by a scientist who burned himself in the lab. He actually stuck his hand in the nearest liquid he could find, which happened to be lavender oil. And then he noticed that his burns healed quickly because there was no scarring. And so it's been kind of known for that. If you burn yourself, and it's always great to have a little jar of lavender oil on hand. Lavender is also relaxing too. So it's commonly used for anxiety or to help people sleep. And I use this a lot when I'm camping because while I do have an actual camper, I don't sleep in a tent anymore, but I still find that I don't get as good of sleep as I do when I'm home. So I always bring lavender with me when I'm traveling, when I'm camping, and that works great. The next one on the list is chamomile. Chamomile oil, like chamomile tea, is calming. Is also used for relieving premenstrual pain, indigestion, acne, eczema, and skin conditions. The next one on this list is eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is used to help clear the sinuses as well as alleviate pain. It can also be used in a natural cleaner and as an insect repellent. You've probably bought those natural insect repellents in the store. Most likely they had eucalyptus oil. But what I use it for is to clear the sinuses. I don't have them as much anymore. It's been a couple years, but when I used to get sinus infections and, stuffed nose, eucalyptus oil always did the trick. So I would keep a little bit of that by my bed because most likely when you have sinus trouble, it's going to be when you're laying down, when you're going to bed. So if you have trouble with those sorts of things, you can keep a little bottle of eucalyptus oil by your bed and just rub a little bit of it on your nose. Now, they do recommend that you use carrier oils. So it's I have used this by itself and it does kind of burn a little bit, but I've never experienced anything too harsh. But to be on the safe side, it's always good to mix your oils with a carrier oil if you're going to use them on the skin. So a carrier oil is something like even lavender. Lavender works great as a carrier oil. Almond oil works good too. Vitamin E. There's a lot of them. So the next one on this list is rosemary, and rosemary it's a mild stimulant that is used to alleviate respiratory problems. It's used to improve focus and memory as well. I've actually heard this said that if you can't remember something that you're trying to remember, sniff some rosemary. I've never actually tried it, but it might be worth trying. And it also can help soothe aches and pains as well. So the next one on this list is sandalwood. Sandalwood is an antiseptic that is used for dry skin and acne. It also has a relaxation effect that can be great for meditation. The next one is jasmine. This is one of my favorite scents. This is an antidepressant. It can also be used as an aphrodisiac. A lot of these scents, they're not necessarily they don't need to, you don't have to have these problems. So let's say, since jasmine is an antidepressant, you don't need to be depressed, of course. You can just enjoy it for the scent. And that's one of the best things about essential oils is you can use almost any essential oil and it's going to help you because I have talked about this before, but your mental health is dependent on your senses. You can improve your mental health by taking control of what you let into your senses, and that includes smell. That's why aromatherapy is such an important subject and such a great thing to get into because it's easy. You really just need a diffuser, and then you can put any essential oil in there and it will make your place smell amazing, and you'll get the benefits whether or not you even knew that you needed the benefits. So the next one on this list is peppermint. Peppermint is a stimulant that has many benefits, including relieving pain. It's often used in toothpaste because of its antimicrobial properties. And another helpful tip is that peppermint oil can be used to keep spiders away when you spray it around your house. I did this and I think it works, although that could have been from a result of other things as well, but it's something that you can try if you want to keep spiders away and you don't want to use anything like chemicals. The next one on this list is lemon, and lemon is often used in cleaning products, so this makes an excellent oil to have on hand all the time. It is also great for the skin, and it uplifts your mood. So you can use lemon essential oil, or you can actually use lemon juice freshly squeezed when you're putting it on your skin, when you are using it for a cleaning product. I believe the mixture is just water and lemon oil. You probably don't even need that much lemon oil. And another thing that I've done with lemon oil is I've put some drops of lemon oil in a bowl of water, and then I'll put the bowl of water in the microwave, and then that will steam up the microwave while releasing, the lemon oil's essential properties that help it to be a good cleaner. So that's a great way to clean your microwave. The last one on this list is tea tree oil. This is another very popular one. This is an oil that everyone should always have on hand if you have nothing else, because the number of benefits you can get from this oil are many. It is great for coughs. It's great for gingivitis, for colds, for acne. It kills mold and viruses. Now that I've heard, but although I don't think that you can just take it internally, I believe that tea tree oil needs to be put on the skin or used in a diffuser. I don't think that you can just drink it, and that comes along with any essential oil. I would not recommend ingesting them. Now, I have heard of people that have put a drop or two in a drink, but I've never done that, and I don't know why. I can't even explain why it would be a bad thing, because if you're putting something on your skin, it's being absorbed into your body. It's going in. But I think there might be something to do with ingesting it that makes it different. But so that's going to take a little bit of research on your end if you really want to learn about how it can kill viruses. But I have had experience with this killing mold. I did have mold in my house, and when they came to do the fix it, they used tea tree oil. And I was very happy about that, because that made me, feel safer that there was no chemicals going into my house. And since there are multiple benefits, it was just great to smell at. So now I'm going to talk about how to use essential oils. So these are commonly used by aromatherapists. It's the most effective way of using essential oils. It stimulates the skin, and the friction that is generated by rubbing oil on the body makes the oil smell stronger as well. So essential oils are very potent, like I mentioned, and you should never use them undiluted unless you're using lavender oil. That's the one that I have always heard is good to use on its own. So for massaging, they should be blended with a carrier oil, since they are very potent. They can be irritating to the skin if you use them alone. So for a good carrier oil, like I said, you can use almost any vegetable oil, jojoba oil, maybe that's pronounced jojoba, whatever, it's jojoba, and almond oil, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the recommended ratio varies, and you can actually find a chart that can help you. It's a dilution calculator on Mountain Rose Herbs blog site, and that's the website that I mentioned earlier for where I get my oils and herbs. You can also Google it as well, because there's a lot of information online about essential oils. You can also use essential oils in the bath. Just add a few drops of oil before you get in, and the water will be stirring around a little bit. This method works best for an oil that is calming and relaxing, of course, because if you're taking a bath, you're most likely doing it before bed. Another great way of using essential oils is in a diffuser. Like I mentioned earlier, the scent is slowly dispersed into the air, and you're benefiting from it the whole time. I run my diffuser every night, and like I said, you could put anything in there. You can buy these almost anywhere, and even in grocery stores. You can also inhale them right out of the bottle. That works too. Although, then you're just getting it for a couple minutes or seconds, and then you have to keep doing it. So that's why I like diffusers, because it's constant. So another way that you can use the oil is, particularly if you are suffering from a cold or congested sinuses, is to fill a bowl with hot water, add a few drops of eucalyptus oil, and cover your head with a towel and inhale deeply. That way you're getting the eucalyptus oil right in there. And that's something that you can do before you go to bed if you have a cold. You can also relieve the pain of headaches and rashes with a cold compress. These are also good for reducing inflammation and fever. So the way that you would use this is pour cold water into a bowl, Add a few drops of oil and then soak a clean cloth in the mixture, wring it out, and place it over the affected area. And a hot poultice works the same way for relieving muscular pain or earaches or backaches. Then instead of cold water, you would fill a bowl with hot water and add the oil of your choice, wring out the cloth, make sure it's not too hot when touching the skin. And then once the cloth is cooled to body temperature, you can wring it out in hot water and repeat. So, as I mentioned, Mountain Rose Herbs is my go-to website for essential oils because they have only the best quality products. So, I will leave a link down in the show notes for that website so you can check it out. And I've also got a couple articles on my blog that are related to essential oils. I've got how to improve your mental health using the 5 senses. And that is where I talk about aromatherapy being one of them and all the different scents that you can, enjoy for your mental health, and as well as the other senses too. And then also, you're probably going to be interested in the beginner's guide to chakras, because using essential oils is one of the ways that you can balance your chakras. And there are specific oils for different chakras, and I go into them on the article. And I also just recorded a podcast episode about that as well. So you probably will want to check that out if you are really interested in using essential oils to help balance your chakras. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share it on social media or consider donating. And if you want to keep up with everything that I'm doing, you can find all the links at holisticlifestyleguide.com. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.